Yeah, I'll go ahead and get started. But yeah, bro, see, make it make sense, buddy. We can look into that after I review, though. Yeah, so I didn't make a call on Tuesday because I would literally be repeating the same thing as Friday, which is starting to become the case. So I'm starting to see what I can do for those days, because I'm literally a 10-minute call, yes, but I'm repeating exactly what I said on Friday, because what we said on Friday was with this blue square here, how that was an internal liquidity grab, which is obviously a model in place, and now that could have been the reason why we would have topped out for at least a short to medium term. And we said that if we would, I believe we said that if we were to eliminate preliminary structure, then we have officially topped out, which technically I do think we have topped out for the medium term, especially if we look at the weekly with no drawings. That is a very enticing kind of bearish engulfing after we just took out liquidity, which would be realistically the same scenario as what I just showed you with AU from a principal stance, but I'll come back to that. But yeah, with today, we're pretty much closing with a bearish engulfing. And as of now, we are technically, wrong one. We're technically bouncing off of an inefficiency in place, and you can see that right as a recovery in EU, I believe right now. Yeah, inefficiency fill there. So there's currently that transition in place, right? And we're referring to DXY. Right now we have taken liquidity as our fuel. We have mitigated something, meaning there's order flow in play, and there is a confirmed reaction there. Which is all based on the bias that we had that we had given last week, which was that we had potentially topped out for the medium term at least. And as you can see, literally since the call last week, which was 13th of May, was it? Yeah, I think it was 13th of May at 11ish right here. Pretty much since then, that's pretty much the move we have gotten throughout the week. And as of now, there is a confirmed reaction based on the POI that we had just referenced and the mitigation right there that you can see from the wick. Mitigation is in play, strong reaction. We're about to break structure. This is now a confirmed reaction. The POI has been mitigated, and we are seeing right that via the form of EU, right, as of corrective structure, blah blah blah. And then with AU, this is a bit conflicting, and I'll come back to AU. But with DXY, we were pretty much just following the exact same bias that we'd followed last week, or that we had implemented last week, and that's that we didn't really want to assume the continuation because of the model in play, and you can see that starting to move. But right, I would say it's a good thing, I would say it's a bad thing, but this has a lot of room to fall, look at this weekly with the engulfing, and then now we can start looking into right our monthly, because that will close after, I believe, a week and a half ish. Yeah, that closes next Monday. So that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. And I don't want to assume anything, but if we were to get a relative closure, right, you could see a very big candle in the opposite direction for the next couple of months. So yeah, we'll see. Very interesting. This is I forgot what exactly we had been referencing here, but right, that POI that we had mentioned before that was above liquidity is now in play, and that is technically what is playing now. So who's to say this isn't the beginning of a really big transition? But you know, obviously the internal has to fit that as well, and currently I would be favoring more of that bullish sense. Just from a narrative perspective, simple, right? We've taken out this and we've not taken out structure, which is what happened, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday. So now this break of structure is, in my opinion, right, the change of sentiment, and it really looks like we want to be more bullish, especially after the inefficiency fill right there. So internally, you're seeing that confirmed reaction that we had just talked about inversely with DXY is actually being shown almost identically here. But the only thing that's conflicting with that bias at the moment, right? Let me just delete this stuff. Would be the fact that we just had a bearish structural disruption, which means realistically this would be a very good POI for the continuation to the downside. And that's, you know, me trying to refer more to that smaller time frame perspective, right, than minor intraday perspective in comparison to, right, what that medium term could be. So I'm open to the possibility that this will rocket us higher, but I'm also open to the fact that, right, who's to say liquidity, right, is sitting here, who's to say liquidity has not been taken, and then there's now a structural disruption, which is a failure, right, to create a new high, which can also come back to what Alfie just talked about in the beginning of the Zoom, which is today we couldn't find a reason for why EU didn't take that high. And who's to say the reason that we didn't take that high was the creation of an internal structural disruption, right? Because that's, you know, it's also something when, that's also a big, I don't want to say a big issue, but it is an issue when you're trading in real time, is that you don't know that a structural disruption is forming as it is forming, because you cannot see it until it is done, right? So you can only play based on what you can immediately read, right? And just for a simple example, let's say there's, right, a mitigation or something, and then there's an entry here, you can immediately, you can know that you can target the immediate high, but you don't necessarily know you can take out the high after that, because after we take out liquidity, we do not know exactly what will happen, right? So it's not necessarily something to be mad about, just something to be aware about, because you don't necessarily know when a move is going to be created or a model is going to be created. So we only play based on what is given to us. And that will pretty much bring us over to AU, because with EU, it's really going to be 50-50 with whether the inefficiency bounce, right, propels us higher, or if our POI will propel us downward. But with AU, I guess I could show you guys where the original bias came from. And that was, excuse me, right, the turbulence point. I read this morning, excuse me, oof. But, right, there is, taking that off. Oops. 1 second. Inefficiency with immediate invalidation. I did see that there, but obviously the whole gist is converting, or not converting, but catching the conversion between bullish to bearish and bearish to bullish, right? So in a bearish trend, right, because we've already acknowledged this as structural disruption, right, from an overall sense, right, I know that this is a, 1 second, this is a bullish pullback. So realistically, I want my transition somewhere around here in order to catch a potential trade, which could pay off tenfold in the long run. But we would need to catch that transition in order for that to properly make sense, right? This isn't necessarily order flow continuation, this is order flow conversion. And with that being said, right, that was already in play. And I can now show you guys the markups that I sent in the group. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and send all of them that I sent. Okay, wrong one. Okay, so we know that we're internally bullish, right? But I don't know if you guys can see the wicks there. Maybe if I zoom out a little bit. Hold on. Yeah, it doesn't really help. Anyways, there is a wick there, right? And we have obviously taken liquidity, and we have immediately shown an internal liquidity grab. internally, right, this is where you can see that, right, the liquidity being taken, right, the what's it called, the liquidity grab be formed. And I don't know why these screenshots aren't showing the wicks. That's kind of weird. I have no idea why this is showing not showing the wicks, but anyways, this is the original bias. And this trade here, that would have been reaction based. This here would have been a limit with invalidation as the SL. Pretty much the only reason why I'll use a limit is if my invalidation is my SL. But as we study here, right, you let time pass, the POI, right, based on reaction, right, you could see that there is, right, one of three things can happen within a POI if it makes it valid. And that could be 1, mitigation, 2, 50%, 3, liquidity grab. And that's exactly what you got in this one. So this was actually my limit only because my invalidation is there. If my invalidation is not there, it's a lot harder for me to justify that limit type scenario. And this itself is, I believe, like 2 pips, but we'll come back to that. Third one, right, you could see this is why I will only set the limit there. I would not set a limit here because the invalidation is up here. But this also goes into what we just said about we don't know if a structural disruption is occurring as we are pretty much trading in real time, just as we don't know if liquidity is forming, right, as it's forming, right? So I don't necessarily want to get caught up too much with the continuations. I'm focused on my invalidation, right, based on, right, the model in play. So I didn't really want to trade this much here, right? I don't really want to justify this POI because there is no strong order flow behind this, but there is order flow behind this. So this was relatively high risk, right? Whereas, right, once this was shown, the hand is shown, and in my opinion, this solidifies high and the high up there, and that's starting to justify what this overall bias, which was to the downside. But right, this, in my opinion, was very, very clear, just because now we've shown our hand, the narrative is in play, right? The noise has been deleted. So I know that my invalidation would technically be here because this is technically a turbulence point internally. So my invalidation was there. This was, I believe, 4 pips. So a lot more conservative, right? But this is once the transition had already shown itself. And as you can see, it is real time right there. And then as you can see, that was that. And now that is here. But yeah, took my partials. It is Friday. I'm not really too concerned with holding this long term, even though it can hold long term if the bias is correct and if we are meant to come back down here, at least here, and at the very borderline here. Right, so that would be 1, 2, 3. Right, and immediately what happens after that is, you know, like I said, we don't really know what will happen once we reach here, but that is also technically a bullish POI because technically this is still bullish from a medium term. So this area will be very, very crucial, and that's also a good reason why I took my little partials out of the way. But yeah, this is a lot of concepts really showing itself. Like, for example, the whole not creating a substantial new high, the internal liquidity grab, bullish to bearish transition, overall trend continuation, structural ranges, structural disruptions, just a bunch of stuff here, order flow, just seeing it all play out. And I thought that was super interesting to show you guys. I got the answer to my laws, trying to find a continuation against trend isn't a continuation, meaning it's out of my trading criteria. If it was based on a full transition, then maybe an excuse was there to buy, but it wasn't. So in short terms, you're aggressive. Right, is that a good way to put it? Yep. Yeah, man. I have this thing for whenever I read some big thing, I always like to just simplify it so it can make sense. For example, I started going to a new chiropractor this week, he's over here diagnosing me, and then he's over here nerding out about, oh, you're this and this and this connects to this, which is causing this and this and this. And I just said, so you know what? So I'm basically really tight. And he said, on your right side. And I'm like, okay, thank you. That makes a lot of fucking sense. But yeah, I really have a thing for trying to simplify things. But there could be an issue with oversimplification too. I find myself being aggressive after a few wins. I don't know why. Ego, confidence, overconfidence, sorry. Greed. I would say greed could coincide, but I wouldn't say that's a direct thing after a couple of wins. But yeah, I do definitely see what you're trying to say there. But honestly, other than that, I mean, if we reference last week's call, the bias is played to the T. But now next week is going to be very, very important, because it's really going to show us how this monthly closure is going to come out, and how that monthly closure comes out will pretty much vary with our bias. Yeah, bro, but the thing is I caught an internal transition. So is it really, that's why I said aggressive, conservative. And that's why I wanted to take both. Honestly, I wasn't going to take the second one, but I just said, you know what, this is way too clear. Like it's way too clear for me not to take. That's why I took this exact screenshot. If not, I really would have just let this play out and I would have just had one position. But you also don't want to confuse aggressive with, you don't want to confuse aggressive, right, with, you know, actually having the transition in play. I wouldn't consider this aggressive because the transition was in play. It's supporting the overall bias and a model played out, you know? Not to mention my SL is at my invalidation, so I don't really have that tight of a of a stop loss, I'm sorry. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is fully aggressive because there is a model in play. And without the model, then yes, I would say it is pretty aggressive. Because like I said, here, we're technically bullish internally up until this happens. Once this happens, I'm now bearish. Right, because this is, and actually it's cool to point this out too, the 50% of this. The only reason why I didn't take the trade here, like I said, because one, I've taken a lot of trades where this is technically that 61.8 kind of thing. I've taken a lot of trades where with this very, very small parameter will SL me, maybe even hit the top and then go down. And why is that? Because my SL based on this POI would have been here. And that SL is not my invalidation. Whereas here, my invalidation there at the time would have been there. Right, so that's the only reason why I would only take a sell limit here and not technically there. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, do we have any studies that we want to show? Anything we want to talk about? Oh, how are you guys doing? We have actually about 15 people in here, so. Yeah, man, Sergio's been neglecting these calls, so it's just me today. That's good, chilling. I don't know about y'all, but last year, the summertime was a very, very good time to trade last year. Yeah, man, honestly, take your exams. Just give charts like 2 or 3 hours a day and you'll be fine. Yep, last year I definitely noticed it though. Last year I really, really noticed it. And I used to think December was bad for trading, but in reality, I was just awful at trading at the time. That was like 3-4 years ago. Because I will never forget, right? There was this like massive spread on NU, which like, it was like 100 pips, and it was like, holy shit. But yeah. But yeah, this will be interesting with this one, because even if I'm not correct from the overall bias, the entry at least gave me a reaction, and that's enough for me to get, you know, a partial, a break even or something, just not take the loss. And I think that's what's very, very important about a model. Yeah, NU and AU spread can get ridiculous. Yeah, bro, I know. Trust me, I know. And yeah, you can see that POI right there. Valentin, how many weeks have you been in the program? I believe in stupid questions, but I don't think that's a stupid question. Okay. What is structural disruption? By definition, what is it? Don't look at your notes, just answer. And if you can't, well, that's your problem. Well, a high and low can't be taken at the same time, bro. That's not, you can't take a high and a low at the same time. What is it by definition? You've got to go now, speak soon. Yeah, bro, I'll do your journal later today. Yeah, bro, thank you for hopping on. Can somebody give me the answer to that? What is structural disruption? Am I signed in to... I hope I'm signed in. Damn. Yeah, hold on. Okay, here we go. Oops, wrong one. Right here. What is the definition of structural disruption? Hold on, let me pull up the chat again. When a high is taken and immediately after a low is being taken. No, that's no. Price shows intent to go in one direction but reverses in the opposite direction. Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Intent, right? There is, right, a solidified point. There is a solidified low, the high is then solidified and it failed to break that, but it is still a confirmed reaction because it shows unwillingness to go in one direction in comparison to the other, right? Which is realistically another type of LG. Well, a type of LG, I will say that. Yeah, another word for effort. So then immediately fails, creates an internal structural range, your premium goes down, and that's why I'm showing you this before after. You see what I mean? So yeah, if the definition, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know exactly what I said in the videos because those are like over a year old now. But I will say that I'm pretty sure that I did give definitions for like every concept. I'm positive. I'm like 95% positive. But yeah, if you guys aren't following this, definitely follow this. Yes, it was. Yes, indeed. But I would consider that more of an LG. I would consider today's scenario more of an LG here. Because this, in order for this to be confirmed, structural disruption, you would have needed that to be fully taken out before you take an entry. But technically, I mean, which is kind of what happened, right? But my scenario here, this alone is an LG. I hope that's not too confusing. See, so yes, I would say this now, potentially structural disruption, but it still follows the LG criteria. If you guys have noticed, this is like my favorite kind of trade. Like I'm basically always trading LG structural disruptions. I've noticed the order flow continuation model is really broad. It's really broad, if you guys have noticed, right? A way to, it's, in my opinion, it's not specific enough, right? If you find, for example, the only way to make, in my opinion, a order flow continuation to be secure, you would need, right, an internal break of structure, LG, structural disruption, order flow disruption, something, you know, you need something to follow that order flow continuation, if that makes sense. But yeah, I goofed though. I goofed today. I could have easily, for example, if I would have followed this exact same criteria today with EU, look at the trade I would have gotten today. I goofed on this one for sure. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here. I goofed. Hold on. I just wasn't looking at it. Like, honestly, like I was just trading in bed this morning. Just did not feel like looking at this. Right here. Right. Turbulence point creates new low. Right. Invalidation would have been here. That would have been my SL. I could have just put obviously my my limit, right? Even though this could have technically been weak order flow, right? But this is why I don't close trades early anymore. Just personal preference. But I would have broken even here. And then you could see that would have been sick, you know? This would have been sick. Because I was looking at this earlier today and I didn't see it till it was like right here, and I was kind of mad about it. Yeah, like 745, yeah. And it's below a 2 pip, so yeah, that would have been really nice for what, 32 hours, an hour and a half. So this would have been technically a order flow continuation play, right? And I will say I did goof on this, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. yeah, like for example, people are always asking me, right? This is something I didn't want to say live on Zoom. Something that especially when we first introduced models, right, was people didn't understand it conceptually, right? But if you really read between the lines, and a lot of you did this, and I really appreciate that people did this, right? I've given you order flow continuations, I've given you order flow disruptions, I've given you structural disruptions. Those three in and of themselves are models based on mitigations, SCs, and efficiencies, the order flow itself, and liquidity grabs. And you could even argue that liquidity grab is a model of XXX, right? But I don't want to exactly say that because LG can be very broad. That's why, you know, you could say structural disruption is a variant of an LG. But I never ever wanted to say that these are models, because I've really given you my models, except I just didn't want to say that I did, because if I said that I did, then it defeats the purpose that you guys are supposed to look for, right? But if you legitimately trade structural disruptions, liquidity grabs, disruptions, right, you can easily see 3 to 4 scenarios of that every week, right? So when people ask me what is how would you go about creating a model, I've already given you a model. You just need to understand what a model is, which is a sequence of XXX, right, that occurs at this time relatively, at this pair relatively, right? Certain times of the day. I think I don't agree with that, because that would assume that, for example, every Monday would be the same, every Friday would be the same, every Wednesday would be the same, which is not the case. You know, trading is not that easy. But yeah, when you're thinking of models, I've already given you my models. You just need to read between the lines. But yeah, I've said that to a couple of people, but I just never really, now I guess it really doesn't matter because you guys see it. But I just, like I said, I didn't want to just say that because it defeats the purpose. It's like not to put anybody out on the spot, but last week somebody who had just joined the group, right, they don't want to follow the process. They want to completely ignore it and try to ask me questions after maybe 1-2 watches of the whole course. I say follow the process. They don't listen to me. Instead, they go ask other people in the group. Other people in the group show me, and now, you know, I'm getting pretty aggravated because you're not following directions. If you can't follow a simple direction of doing this for 6 weeks, if you can't give me that patience, how can I ever teach you anything else? You know what I mean? So that's why I don't like to say things like that, because then it defeats the purpose. I want you to figure that out. But maybe that could be a mistake by me too. You know, it could be my mistake by trying to assume that you guys know, or assuming that you guys know XXX, you know. So it's you know, it's a work in progress. Yep. And that's the what, right? Follow the process, study the material on your own. That's the what, but what's the why? That's the what. Now, what's the why? Why do you follow the process? I'm looking for one word. If anybody can figure that out, I'd be super impressed. No. No, what? No. Freedom, what do you, no. No, not consistency. Why do you follow the process and study the material on your own? Discipline, kind of, but what's your end goal? What do you want? And I've said this in a lot of RCV posts. I may not really say it too much on the Zooms. You follow the process and you study everything on your own. Why? Because your ultimate goal there you go. You start the process a certain way so you can implement certain habits early on. Why? Because at the end of the day, you know, you want to build a derivative. You don't necessarily want to understand how the market moves. You want to understand how the market moves in your eyes. And there's a big difference with that. Because if you were to ask me, I don't know how the market operates. I couldn't give two shits how the market operates. All I'm doing is playing based on controllables, which is realistically what I try to do in life too, you know? Yeah. So you don't necessarily want to learn somebody's edge. You want to create your own edge. And that's been a pretty big, I guess, light bulb in some people's heads. Exactly. You're playing the cards that you're dealt with. 100%. Because that's all life is. Some people have better cards than others. Some people have to work harder for certain cards. Some people, you know, are blessed with whatever, you know? That's why you can't judge people on the cards that they're given. You can only, right, make an implication of them based on how those cards are played. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, you guys definitely see, yeah, I definitely showed you guys everything with AU. I don't think I missed anything. And it's also, that's also kind of why I don't really do breakdowns like that anymore. I usually break down everything within these Zooms. So the people who keep up actually, you know, people who put in the work get the result. But yeah, just play your cards in whatever way you see fit. And if you don't get the optimal result, you figure out why. There's always a why. Always. As long as there's a what, there's a why. No matter what. But a why without a what, you know, may not necessarily be ideal. But yeah, hopefully that was insightful. Because yeah, I don't really have much to cover today. I think we still have, yeah. And we've been going for about 40 minutes now, so yeah, unless you guys have some more studies you guys want to show me, we can go ahead and end this soon. Yeah, of course. And I don't mind repeating this every week. The thing is though, is I just want to see you think. Like, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what you could do if you just simply think. You just stop and think for a second. Oh shit, sorry. And the thing is too is I try to keep this super non-emotional. I don't try to hype you up. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to do that, because that's, hype is temporary. I'm trying to just make you think. Because a simple question can make you think for the next couple of weeks. Like, look, let me leave it off at this. It's a little exercise. I forgot who did this with me. Somebody did this exercise to me. Shit, honestly I don't even have the answer yet, and it's been a couple of months. Yeah, bro, we can even dive deeper with that, but let me ask this first. Okay, I'm gonna type it out for you guys. Without stating your title or name, tell me who you are. No, think about it. I don't know the answer, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah, we did do that. Oh, bro, you know, Sid, you know that if you send me a direct message, it's still going to be shown on Zoom because I'm recording the screen. Just an FYI for everybody. That's a wordy one. It'll get you thinking. It'll get you thinking. I have like 2 more, but we can just, exactly. All answers are ego based. So who are you? Haha. I'm gonna let you figure that one out. I don't know if you ever find the answer, but it just, honestly, I think it's a good ego killer. It makes me think that I don't really know shit, and it makes me keep going. But yeah, what was that question? That's the only way of teaching someone something for real, making them think for himself. Well, yeah, bro, you know the common saying, don't fish for somebody, teach somebody how to fish. But how do you teach somebody how to how do you teach somebody how to fish? Of course, it depends on circumstances. Of course, 100%. Everything does. That's why I say you play based on the cards that you're dealt with. But yeah, common saying, don't teach man, or don't fish for man, teach man how to fish. How do you teach man how to fish? Yeah, you set a foundation, right? You give X method, right? Then they go figure it out. Simple as that. All I'm doing is taking the psychology a bit more deep. Because all you're really doing, right, by giving somebody tools and giving them a model, you're just giving them the opportunity to think and giving them the opportunity to figure out how to fish. You see what I'm saying? Why do you blame psychology? And then that's his derivative, bingo. I think somebody wants to learn something, they have to bring that thing out by themselves. Exactly. For example, everybody here drives, right? Everybody here drives. I'm pretty sure everybody here drives. Whenever I use a GPS, I don't know where the fuck I am. I don't know. I don't have any idea where the fuck I'm going. I'm just following the map and I'm, copying and pasting. Whereas, the next time, if I try to do it myself, I'll probably lose myself. But then once I get to that spot, I will never forget how to get to that spot. Because I actually thought, and now I'm memorizing, details, how to get there, what turns, blah, blah. But now I figured it out because I actually put some thought into it and I wasn't copy pasting. And, that's a big reason why I don't really believe in signals and stuff like that. I'm getting some awesome trades, but never get them to hit TP. Well, then just TP earlier. TP at TP1. And then once you're comfortable with that, TP2. Because remember what I said about the security of a move after liquidity is taken. You don't know what will happen after liquidity is taken. So just take it at the liquidity, I'm sorry. Just take the profit then. No one can teach you how to think, but I mean, yeah, I don't, that's a tough one. I wouldn't know how to teach somebody how to think. Exactly. So take profit earlier. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. I would definitely say I killed my ego off late last year and I realized I don't know shit about business, trading, life, school, whatever. I realized I don't know shit. Because something that I caught myself doing is I don't know everybody in here. I don't know if you guys know, but the people that have been in here for a long time, you guys know about my injury streak. Because I had torn my meniscus. I had my 5th surgery, I think April, May, June, July, 6 months after RCV launched. And after I had made it through that, I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do anything I want in life, right? But then over time, I just realized that I would tell my story, right? That, yeah, I've been through 5 knee surgeries, I've been through this, I've been through that, and now I'm here. But that's assuming that here is the end goal, right? So I kind of locked myself out of improvement because I just thought, oh, I've made it this far, you know, and I wasn't really thinking longer term. I hope that makes sense. So I had to really just kill off the ego and just say, I don't know shit. Like, yes, I've been through some shit, but who hasn't gone through some shit? Everybody goes through something. So I just got to keep going. Did you lose your confidence though? Yeah, I will say I did. Yeah, I will say so. I did. And honestly, I would say school brings my confidence down way below where it should be. And I would say that's because of the people that I meet at school. Like I said, I don't resonate with anybody at school. I don't resonate with a professor. I don't even tell professors about this business because I don't know, they shit on trading. So imagine if I told them I may have a business of teaching people how to trade, they'll probably laugh in my face, you know? So yeah, I think you have to think about where you want to get out. Yeah. Yeah, well, your accounting professor is basically telling you that he tried to trade and he always lost. That's what he's saying. Watch this start to come back up here. Right? No new low was formed, so the security of this is not likely. Yeah, man, like fuck, like this is something I don't understand. You have a PhD. You went to school for 6 to 8 fucking years, and you're telling me that you became a professor to make sub 100K a year? It doesn't make sense. You did all of that to not go pursue something in your field, you know what I mean? But I never question my professors. I just observe them. I'll never question them. I get nothing out of questioning them, you know? Yeah, it's just, I just see it as sad more than anything. It's just, I don't know, like, people say with age comes wisdom, but fuck, like, guess it's not so common. But yeah, it's definitely annoying, very depressing. I would say school is very depressing. But yeah, I guess that's a good little endpoint. Just let me scroll back up to the question. Just for the people who are watching the recording. Here it is. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to say, go ahead. If not, we can go ahead and end it off here. Also, one last thing actually. Something I've noticed over time, especially with a lot of my friends, a lot of my guy friends, let me specifically call that out. With my guy friends, I've noticed that a lot of them like really bottle up a lot of shit, and eventually people just want to talk. Are you guys feeling me, or are you guys not feeling me here? And I'm not trying to be like emotional here. Like I'm just trying to state what I've noticed. A lot of guys just really want to be heard. And that could be ego, that could be blah blah. But my friend has hung out with me 2 days in a row because he just wanted to vent to me, and he knows that I'll listen. You know, I will never not listen to somebody, you know. And I've really noticed that like guys just want somebody to vent to, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the time, it's hard with your girl though. And I know we have girls in the group, but Lisette's in here. She could probably give me some POV on this. But for example, I personally feel like I can't really vent to my girl all the time about everything, because that's not really like a guy trait, you know what I mean? Well, traditionally. So I don't know, like if I need a vent, I'll hit up my homeboy or something, you know? Yeah, I'll tell her some things, but I have to be very, very careful about what I tell her, because then, you know, it's you know, you get what I'm saying. But with that being said, it's just, I don't know if you guys ever want to vent, because I know some of you guys have already vented in my DMs, but if you guys want to vent, I'm definitely here. Even if I can't give you the best advice ever, yeah, we'll see. Damn, watch me be wrong here. I should have not said, I think I said unlikely, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this works out or not. But yeah, I would say majority of you guys just bottle up everything, and that's really unhealthy. Very, very unhealthy. But I don't want to get too much into like red pill stuff and stuff like that, just because I don't fully agree with it. But yeah, if you guys need a vent, I'm here. But yeah, I guess we can end it off there though. What do you mean by bottling things up though? Well bro, I mean, we all go through shit on a regular basis. We all have to put up with BS in some type of way. And what is red pill? Oh, enjoy YouTube, bro. Enjoy it. Just look up what is red pill in male dating. Just don't fall into the just don't fall into the rabbit hole, bro. Because I do disagree with a lot of it, bro. I disagree with a big chunk of it. Just DM me, bro. I'll send you some stuff. I'll send you some stuff that isn't red pill. I'll send you stuff that I actually watch. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff I disagree with. Because red pill is borderline misogynistic, and I don't want to, you know, I don't really want to put you guys on that. But yeah, you can just DM me. I'll send you this cool little podcast that I was watching the other day. But yeah, I guess we can end it off there. Cool, for sure. Yeah, I'll probably do it, excuse me, depending on how Monday and Tuesday goes, we'll see. But if not, I might have to start substituting the call with something. I don't know, we'll see. Just because I don't like having to repeat myself, everything I said today on Tuesday, you know, I don't like doing that, because then it gets repetitive. But yeah, we'll see. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.